That's why we should have never provoked them. I mean, they made very clear that there was a red line. The red line was a neutrality for Ukraine, that they could not enter NATO. And in the end, when they get this, if they get this peace agreement, in the end, that's probably going to end up being the case anyway. No, I bet you that one of the conditions will have to be that Ukraine, promise to remain neutral, will not be part of NATO.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can never give in to what Russia wants other nations to do.
We have a Monroe Doctrine, and I think we would be very concerned about this kind of action in our hemisphere. I think he said, keep it neutral, and in the end, probably Ukraine is going to lose more land because of this. Again, the main problem here, as you see, and as we discussed, well, no, actually the main problem is still China. And now we've created a bigger bloc, China and Russia together. This is why our policymakers aren't thinking long term.
I just want to zoom in really fast because the entire time it seemed that Kilmeade was a bit uncomfortable. He was giving some serious side eye and he wanted her to just, hey, pipe it down a little bit here because this is looking really bad. Watch this again.
That's why we should have never provoked them. I mean, they made very clear that there was a red line. The red line was a neutrality for Ukraine, that they could not enter NATO. And in the end, when they get this, if they get this peace agreement, in the end, that's probably going to end up being the case anyway. No, I bet you that one of the conditions.
Brian Kilmeade's been on TV a long time, and I think he must realize, hey, the camera is on, bro. There's another time when he looks at the camera. I watch him sometimes, and he's like. And I was like, bro, you're looking at the camera. Everyone sees you. You're there. You're only 3 people on the stage. Either way it goes, Duffy continued on her line of talking about how we've provoked Putin, and he's just who he is. And Kilmeade decided to jump in again, and he just couldn't take it. Check out the annoyance he had here. Watch.
Provoking this war has brought our two enemies closer together.
They provoked the war.
Well, they had a red line. And we had an agreement in November with a security agreement. They can't make a red line in other
countries, Rachel. It's not up to them to make a red line in other countries.
This is the fate of the geography of Ukraine. And they could have remained a free country. We could have armed them. We could have actually.
Right, no, you understand. Russia got their way. They lost their stooge in an election. The minute they lost their stooge in an election, it had nothing to do with us. They took Crimea and the 2 Donbass regions. And they said, we're going to do more unless you put our guy back. We go, not only are we not going to put your guy back, we're going to have more elections. And then Zelensky beats Poroshenko, and now he established himself with 70% of the vote. Why should a democracy give up because Vladimir Putin's a lunatic?
Well, what is happening on the ground?
It's the reality. He is who he is.
He is who he is. So Fox and Enemies is gone a little bit hot here, David. In fact, the Kilmeade had to say a few things that are correct. This is the only way this works.
Imagine your name is Brian Kilmeade and you're one of the smarter people on a political panel. Like, this is unbelievable to see this kind of interaction. So Duffy here, apparently she's from the 1994 season of MTV's The Real World. That may give you a little indication as to where her education comes from, and it's not the real world. So I don't know. I mean, moments like this, I don't want to give Brian Kilmeade too much credit because largely he's terrible and wrong. But it's good to see on at least this issue he has some education. He pushes back and he's willing to push back. And this is the kind of thing you don't often see these sorts of interactions, these debates on other networks because they usually have people on that at least have some kind of base level competence. But Fox News has no base level. They'll put anybody on. So you have these rare interactions where there's actually some fight and some occasional knowledge being given out.
It's and this is the thing, especially when the bar's already set that low. As if you have this one instance, he's probably gonna get all kinds of praise. I mean, people are jumping on Liz Cheney even, because she's on the panel, she's looking for actual truth because she's doing what a normal American would do. So when Kilmeade says something normal, I'm not sure if then he gets a memo later, an email later in the day and be like, okay, we hear you were right, but you're not supposed to say it all, bro. I don't know, we'll see where it goes. And maybe she won't be back on during the weekdays because she had to fill in there. She is normally on the weekends, but I don't know. I guess it's an audition to make sure she gets a primetime show. Because as we've said before, when it came to Lara Logan and she got fired from Fox and seemingly quietly, you still have Tucker Carlson saying the most outrageous things, but he's in prime time, so he's all good. You just wonder which one gets the platform to say the most ridiculous things.